Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to talk about no big deal bias. Now, this episode is going to be very helpful for you if you are questioning what it is that you really have to offer as a coach. If you're wondering what it is that's special about you that you can create a coaching program around, or if you're just wondering what your gifts are. What are things about you that are unique and interesting that perhaps others might also find interesting? So this concept came about when I was coaching a client about a year ago. She was struggling to identify the niche she wanted to select for her coaching business. And she didn't feel like she had any life experience that would be relevant enough for her to create a coaching business around. So she had this idea overall that her life was pretty average and there was nothing quite extraordinary about it. So I asked her to start sharing with me some of the changes she's gone through in her life over the years, any kind of significant moments that she's been through. And she immediately started talking about her relationships. She said that she was in a marriage for a long time that wasn't working out and that ended. And then years later, she fell in love with a man that she met online. And they formed an incredible relationship. They got married and they are still happily together today. And she said that it was the way that she crafted her online dating profile that inspired this man to reach out to her. And the moment she said that, I said, wait a minute right there. Do you realize how extraordinary that is? Do you realize what a big deal it is, what you just shared with me? And she looked at me like I had 8 heads. She said, no, it's no big deal. I just, made my online profile and everything worked out. I said, you thought it was no big deal? This is a huge deal. Do you know how many single people on this planet are struggling with online dating? And they are wondering how to improve their dating profile. They are feeling so discouraged and want to give up. Do you realize how inspiring your story is? And the coach started to have an entire 180. She thought, wow, I never thought about it that way. I guess it is a big deal. And all of a sudden, she had this clarity on this program she wanted to make to help people navigate online dating. And after that coaching session, it made me realize that this is a pattern that I've seen in many coaches I've worked with. So I call this no big deal bias. And it's the bias we have in our brains that cause us to discredit our gifts, that cause us to disregard accomplishments and changes in our life as being no big deal. Now, every single person I've spoken to, if you give me about 5 minutes or less to talk to that person, I can guarantee you, I can discover a topic that they could create a 6 and even a 7-figure coaching business around. I believe every human being on the planet is able to do that as long as they know what to look for. And one of the ways you know what to look for is by overcoming your own no big deal bias. Okay? Now, one of the reasons why we have no big deal bias, I'm going to give you a few reasons. One of the reasons is because when something comes naturally to us, we often discredit it. We often think, oh, well, that's no big deal, that it's not special because it just happened so naturally. So of course you would discredit your gift because they're your gifts. They are a natural extension of you. You don't have to think much about them in order to just show up and express those gifts. So true talent is unaware of its own brilliance. Let me say that again. True talent is often unaware of its own brilliance. Right? So you want to become aware of what it is that you're discrediting in your own life. And I'm going to give you a good list of potential things in your own life that you could use that may inspire you to hopefully go all in with your coaching vision that you have. If you're on the fence, if you're not really sure, maybe you're already starting a business, but you're not really clear about where to go with it. I'm going to give you a nice list in a little bit. So this is also important for you to recognize in your clients, right? Because if they're questioning their gifts, if they're wondering where to go in their own life, it doesn't mean that they don't have anything to offer. It means they have no big deal bias. They need support acknowledging what they've been through. Often in life, we just keep going. We keep moving forward. We don't pause and look back and go, wow, I did that. Yeah, I did that thing. I made that dating profile. I knew what to write in it. It attracted someone amazing into my life. That is a huge deal. Now, another reason that people have no big deal bias is because of this belief that people have that you need to work really hard to be successful, or that you need to work really hard to make a good amount of money. This is one of the most common and limiting beliefs out there. You are allowed to be successful and reap the rewards of that success for things that come naturally to you. And you are allowed to get paid very well to coach and to teach on something that you are naturally good at. This is allowed. You don't need to work harder and harder and harder to get more successful. Something does not need to require tremendous effort in order for you to make good money from it. So, what if it was your birthright to be successful? What if your success didn't have to require tons of effort? And what if your success could be a natural extension of who you are? Let me ask that one again. What if your success could be a natural extension of who you are? Now, many people who go through Thriving Coach Academy, they realized when they enroll in the program that they've been natural born coaches pretty much all their lives. And now they're looking to solidify it and get frameworks to expand their reach and really put it all together. So, for example, one of our newest coaches, when he was enrolling, he was saying that, one of the things that he's noticed throughout his life is that people would come up to him and very naturally open up. And they would very quickly trust him and start sharing about their challenges. And for many years, this coach thought, oh, this is no big deal. This is just normal. And I think this is one of the most common signs we see. So if you are experiencing this is a sign that you are a natural born life coach. So we might think, oh, it's no big deal for someone to just come up to us and start sharing and opening up about themselves. This is a huge deal. It's a huge deal because if someone approaches you, if people in your life naturally open up to you, that means that you have the gift of non-judgment. It means that you are able to create space where people feel safe to share and explore their thoughts with you. People feel safe to open up to you. This is so sacred, and this is so valuable, and this is so life-changing. Yet how often do we just think, oh, it's no big deal? No big deal bias. Most of the time, people don't feel safe to share. They keep a lot of their thoughts within. They don't want to talk about their problems with people. So if you find that people approach you and they disclose personal things to you, and you're thinking, oh, isn't this interesting that someone's doing this? Oh, it's no big deal. I guess this is just what people do. This is a huge deal. So you might wonder, how do you even figure out what your gifts are? Because there are different levels to understanding what your gifts are. And this is something that we're not taught to examine or question. And we all have gifts. And sometimes you've got to explore what those gifts are in order to see what they could be, how you could share them. So firstly, what are your gifts? Well, you can start by thinking about what are your obvious accomplishments and achievements, right? These are obviously gifts, things that you've accomplished, things that you've achieved in your life, okay? That's an easy place to start. But then where I think the work gets really interesting is when you ask yourself, what are the no big deal things that you've done in your life? What are the quote, no big deal things that you've done in your life? Any kind of transition that you've navigated through. So for example, when I graduated college, I booked a one-way ticket to go to China where I taught English for a couple of years. And when I look back on that now, I think, oh, that was no big deal. I just was excited to go to Asia. I wanted to live in another country. I went and did it, and I came back. But since doing that experience, I have had so many people reach out to me when they were thinking about moving to a new state or a new country, and they wanted to hear my thoughts. They wanted me to coach them through it. In fact, just yesterday, I had a friend of mine reach out because she's looking to move from the West Coast to the East Coast, and she knows that I've moved a lot in my life, and she was asking me for support around it. Now, again, this is something in my life that I think, oh, it's no big deal. I've moved a bunch throughout my life. But for so many people, navigating this decision is really big, right? So no, obviously, I'm not going to start a coaching business around moving across the country, but if you're someone who's done that, this is a great niche to create a coaching business around. And again, your brain's going to tell you, oh, but this is no big deal, right? You just got up and you moved. You just did the thing. But for so many people, it's a huge deal. So don't discredit yourself and be aware that this is no big deal bias. Now, another question you can ask yourself to recognize your gifts is, what is something that comes naturally to you that others desire? What is something that comes naturally to you that others desire? And then finally, what are your qualities that people appreciate? So you can consider, what is it that people in your life compliment you on or are impressed about? What are those qualities people really appreciate about you? Right? These together, all of these core questions will help you start to shape, okay, what are my gifts? And then how could this inform a coaching business that I want to create? Now, get ready for this list I've compiled. I'm so excited to share this. Here are some examples in life that we might think are no big deal, but every single one can become massively profitable coaching niches. Now, before I share this list, a disclaimer. You do not need to have a coaching niche or specialty in order to have a successful business. I know that a lot of coaches go into niche drama and think, oh, I can't get started because I don't know what my niche is going to be. When I got started for the first couple of years, I was a life coach, coaching anyone on all the things, and I did very well. So you do not need a specialty or a niche to get started. It is something that you can consider to choose at whatever point you want to choose. So here is my list. Number 1, getting a good night's sleep. Now you might think that this is so bizarre. You might just go to sleep at night, and like I have one of my friends, she's able to go into her bed and within minutes of her head hitting the pillow, she's out cold. And she's able to sleep for a good 7 hours a night. And for me, I wish that I had some support with this, because I have for years found it really hard to go to sleep when I go lay in my bed. I have to do so many things to help my brain stop thinking. So for my friend, though, this is no big deal. She's like, and I remember one day I was sitting with her. I said, can you explain to me how you go to sleep? I know this is a very odd question, but how do you just fall asleep? So literally, if you are someone that's good at sleeping, which is something you probably think is no big deal, you can coach people on this. And yes, I do know coaches that specialize in helping people get a good night's sleep. Think about how valuable that is for someone. Okay, next, morning routine. Do you have a really good morning routine where you're able to hop out of bed and you get a lot done in your morning? So many people would benefit from knowing how to create a powerful morning routine so they could set their day off strong. Next, if you've gone through any kind of breakup and it didn't include drama. Okay, we think that breakups are supposed to be dramatic and full of fighting and chaos and blaming. But if maybe you've experienced a breakup where it actually went really smoothly, it was drama-free, you could create a very successful coaching business helping people navigate breakups drama-free. Here's another example. Have you been married to an amazing person? You were able to find the love of your life. Boom, there's a coaching business right there. Now for you, it might have just been, again, a no big deal. What? I just found a person, we got married. But there were many ways that you showed up. There were lots of decisions you made that other people would benefit from understanding. They would love to hear your story. They would be inspired by your story and want to talk to you and even want to work with you. Here's another example of something you might consider to be no big deal. You quitting a job that you didn't like, right? Think of all the people that are staying stuck in careers that aren't lifting them up and energizing them, but they're just too afraid to quit. You might have just quit one day and thought, just quit, no big deal. That's a huge deal for people, having navigation on making that transition out of a job they don't like. Moving to a new country. Boom, I talked about that one earlier. If you're someone who's really good at organizing your house or minimizing clutter, I always joke and say that if I were to not train coaches and I were to start over, this would be my specialty. Because when I was growing up, we had a lot of junk drawers in our house that just had a lot of clutter, a lot of pens, a lot of scrap paper, and just a lot of junk. And I, as a kid, would go into the junk drawers and organize it. I would love for everything had a purpose, everything had a place. And to this day, my living space is very organized. It's very minimalistic. And I jokingly say, I would be either a clutter coach or I would be one of those people on the shows where they help people that have hoarding challenges. So if you are someone who has an organized home, you don't have clutter, you could create a coaching business helping people clear out the clutter in their homes. Another example, if you're someone who makes videos online, if you're posting social media content, you're able to confidently and smoothly do this. So many people have no idea what to do when they click the record button on their phone or their camera. They freeze up. They don't know what to say. You can support people making content and videos online. Another example, asking people out on dates. So, have you done that before? Have you had experiences where it went well? You can help people who struggle so much in this area. They don't know how to approach people and simply ask them out. Okay? They're looking for love, but this is the one area where they're really struggling, just starting that conversation. Another one, if you have any kind of side hustle in your life, if you have any form of income that you make on the side, you can teach people and coach people on knowing how to do that for themselves, how to create a side hustle, right? So maybe you are a crafty person, you have a page on Etsy and you sell some kind of trinket for, $20, $30, $50. And for you, it's just no big deal because maybe crafting is something you love to do, but you've been able to make, additional few $1,000s on Etsy. You might think again, it's no big deal. It's not like I made millions. But think about how many people are crafty and they're sitting at home not knowing how to set up an online shop, right? They're not sure how it is that they could monetize their crafting abilities. They would love to know how to make an extra grand on Etsy or whatever kind of platform. You can be the coach to help them do it. So any kind of online shop, maybe you've sold things on Amazon, on eBay, and people are not sure how to do it, and you could help them make additional money in their life. Another example, making a powerful LinkedIn profile, okay? So again, you may have set up your LinkedIn profile like no big deal, and maybe it's landed you job opportunities and you've had, recruiters reach out to you. This is a huge deal. This is a really big deal. A lot of people don't know how to set up their profile online to present themselves in the best possible way, and they would tremendously benefit from having a coach navigate through these steps. In a similar realm, another possibility could be having someone make a resume, crafting a really amazing resume and cover letter, right? You may have just whipped one together and thought, no big deal. But there's so many people who have no clue where to begin with that. And their resume is preventing them from getting job opportunities. Okay, so that's an amazing area to coach people through. Here's one that you might find really funny. So are you someone who's really good at taking photos? Maybe you take amazing selfies and people have complimented you on, wow, you take really good pictures, right? I know we joke about, oh, wow, you take a selfie. That's such a good on you for you to do that. But let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know how to portray themselves in a positive way with the photos they take. They don't understand the things like lighting and angles, right? And it's more than just knowing how to take a good selfie. But when someone has a wonderful way of presenting themselves through photo, they can open up possibilities in their life. Like they could learn how to brand a business just by learning how to take good photos of themselves. Taking good photos of yourself, you can learn how to post great photos of you on a dating profile, which could help you find love, right? If you've ever used an online dating service, you probably have seen some pretty interesting photos that people choose. And it's not because they are putting not flattering pictures of themselves there. It's because they don't know how to take photos that really show off the best of their appearance, right? So we might joke and think, oh, no big deal. I could take a good selfie. But what if you can create a coaching business around helping people take incredible photos of themselves? All right. Making a dating profile. That's the example I shared before of that client who, no big deal, made an online profile and it had this amazing format to it that was able to attract what became her husband. Next, if you've lost any amount of weight and been able to keep it off. Now, you don't need to lose hundreds of pounds to help people lose weight, okay? One of my close friends recently lost 75 pounds, which is phenomenal, and she's kept it off. And for her, it was just really a matter of eating less and exercising more, right? But also, she was able to have the discipline to follow through with it. And I tell her all the time, you can create a 7-figure coaching business helping people lose this amount of weight. It's something that so many people struggle with. But even if you've lost 10 pounds, right? Think about how many people would just like to shed the extra 10 pounds, okay? So you don't have to lose a significant amount of weight to help people in the area of weight loss, right? You can just say, listen, I've been able to lose those 10 pounds that you know would make the biggest difference. I've lost it, I've kept it off, and I'm going to help you with it too. Now, on the other side of weight management is weight gaining, okay? So maybe someone wants to put on weight, they want to put on muscle, and they're not sure how to do it. Like for me, a couple months ago, I decided for the first time I wanted to bulk for real. And I have always been very slim and slender, and I had so much go through my brain when I decided I wanted to bulk. I had a lot of fear, I had a lot of resistance, and I was able to come up with a way to put on weight that in a healthy way without having to, eat junk food and have a dirty bulk, as it's called. I was able to have a clean bulk and put on 20 pounds of weight, which was amazing, and feel more confident and masculine and strong in the process. And I thought, wow, this could have been a program. I could put together a program that could help others, and I wish I knew of a program that could have helped me with that as well. So if you've been able to successfully put on weight and keep it, then there's also opportunity there. Okay, next, finding a job that you love. If you're in a job that you love, there are so many people who can't stand their jobs. You can support them in being able to find a job that they love. If you're in a marriage where you don't want to rip out your spouse's hair, then you are ahead of the curve for many marriages. There are things you're doing in your marriage you consider no big deal, but when you really pause and examine it, you'll realize that these are things you can enlighten people on and support them with. Another example, if you are someone who has performed well on any kind of assessment or exam in the past, perhaps a standardized test that a lot of people take and prepare for, like the ACT, the SAT, the bar exam, and you performed quite well on that, right? You might think, oh, it's just no big deal. I just studied and took the test. But for many people, they could benefit from having your coaching and your support, your encouragement, your accountability. So there's an entire coaching business you can create there. All right. I love this. I'm going to give you a few more. Public speaking. If you're someone who's able to get in front of a room and speak, you can create a coaching program helping people with any type of public speaking. Next is interviewing. So do you just do well on interviews when you go in for applying with jobs and you're asked questions and you give responses? Have those gone well for you? Have you gotten job offers after interviewing? Many people freeze when they go into a job interview. They dread it so much. They could be supported. If you know how to speak another language, People desire that, but really struggle. You can help people speak another language. If you know how to play another instrument. If you have a high credit score. A lot of people have no idea how to navigate credit, and they've been struggling with low credit scores. What if you can show people how to bump their credit score up 500 or 100 points, right? This can help them get better deals on any kinds of loans that they might apply for. If you have a retirement fund set up, you might think, oh, no big deal. I've been putting into my retirement fund for so many years. A lot of people wait so long and they don't know how to get started with it. They could benefit from you coaching them through that process. Any type of investing, right? If you do any kind of investing financially, people get very overwhelmed and confused at the idea of what to do with their money. So they could be highly benefited from your support. If you've gone through divorce, okay, this is a huge industry within the coaching industry, helping people navigate through divorce. Okay, one of our board members on the Academy, Julie Danielson, she also has a podcast called Thriving Through Divorce. She went through her own painful divorce in the past, was able to come through it and then find really the man of her dreams. And now she's been able to have a multiple six-figure coaching business helping women go through divorce. Next, anything athletic. Okay, any kind of athletic accomplishment. If you know how to hit a home run, if you could roll a decent, or bowl rather, a decent score in bowling, maybe you know how to do a powerful serve in tennis, right? You could provide sports or performance coaching in those areas. And then finally, communicating boundaries or needs or your ability to say no. Okay, this might seem so basic to you. You might think, oh yeah, it's very easy for me to set a boundary or say no with someone. But for many people, saying no is one of the hardest things for them to do, especially with their spouse and their family members. So there you go. I just shared with you 30 potential specialties that you might think are no big deal, but are a huge deal to many people. And each of those can become massively profitable coaching specialties. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I think some of these I kind of am good in, but I'm not the best, right? There's people who are far more experienced or far more of an expert in that area. I want you to know this. You don't need to be the best in any of these areas. You don't need to have the highest credit score, okay? You don't need to have the most amazing job. You don't need to have the perfect body. All you need to do is be one chapter ahead of the people that you want to serve. You just need to be one chapter ahead of the people that you want to serve. That's all it takes. You don't have to have all of the answers, okay? So I invite you to look at your life just a little bit closer. What are some of the things you can give yourself credit to? Imagine that an alien was visiting planet Earth and they had no idea how to survive and how to navigate through living on this planet. What would you love to teach that alien about? That's how you need to think about your life. Any kind of little transition, change, or improvement you've gone through in your life, any kind of improvement you've experienced, any kind of transition that you've had with your health or your body, your career or your finances, your relationships, your love life, all of that counts. Give yourself credit. What you think is not a big deal to you is a huge deal to so many other people. So if you're looking at your life and you think, well, I did this one thing and it really enhanced my body. I did this one thing and it really enhanced my finances. Or I did this one thing and it really enhanced my relationships. What is that one thing for you? And what if you can create a coaching business around that one thing? You can. And we would love to show you how to do it in the Academy. So I want to end this episode with a little recording that gives you a snapshot of what occurred in our last coach training module. We have several modules we take our coaches through. This is just a little snapshot recording of some of the words that our coaches shared when they were leaving that module. So I want you to enjoy and be inspired by them. And I will see you in the next episode.
One thing my mother always taught me is to surround yourself with fabulous people. And I feel like I'm among fabulous people, great souls, great people.
Personally, I found my calling, and that's a really unique word for me because I thought many years ago I found it, and I realized very quickly it wasn't it. But I've never been more certain in my life and never more clarified in knowing that this is exactly what I should be doing. And the confidence that comes with that, plus the resources and skills that I've learned, it's all just very reaffirming. This is what I'm supposed to do.
There's so much that's here. I know the first time I talked to you, I just told you that I just got feeling this is the right place to be. I feel it even more. I found my people, and you guys are my people.
It's just been like a right fit, I would just say. It was just like a good way to say, you know what, this was the right choice. I've enjoyed doing it. I've enjoyed learning about it. I've enjoyed talking to people about it.
I have spent 12 hours with kindred spirits, people who speak my language. And that is very, very exciting for me. And it's very encouraging for me as I think of moving forward on this journey. So I want to thank everybody for that.
First, I want to say thank you, Frank. Thank you for honoring your calling, because with you honoring your calling, you created this academy, and I'm able to honor my calling. You helped me to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm ready to do what I've been called to do. And I'm even feeling more now that I made the right choice in selecting you, this academy, and being with a great support system, and knowing that I have it for the long run is a good feeling.
There was that calling that said, do it, jump in, get started. And you all listened to that and you all did that. The person that you are now, different from the person that you stepped into this weekend being just yesterday.
Yes, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.